Hi, this is me. I'm gonna go to do the dressage test. This is my second ever time doing it. And sorry, the trailer must be really loud on camera. I'm sorry. Oh, I forgot to change the volume. Anyways, this is my second time doing it. I know that the community is having a lot of issues right now with it being buggy and stuff like that. And I kind of want to experience what they're experiencing because on the day of my live stream, where I did it the very first time, I didn't have any issues. So I was pretty much very, very lucky to have gotten it the first time. So we're gonna do Dressage Mastery. Okay, so it's the same as yesterday, right? So right now I'm not touching my keys, just letting my horse walk straight forward from where it was set. Oh, there's no music. That makes me sad. There's music here. I actually kind of need the music, crud. So I'm going to rotate my camera. So I learned a tip from my friend Gio. The absolute millisecond your horse's hoof hits the dot, you gotta transition. So I'm going to turn my camera again, make sure I'm nice and straight as well. Hit. Don't touch your keys, basically. Hit. Do an L corner. L corner again. Okay, so here's what a lot of people were having some issues with the circle. Tap, 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 tap. That's about my tempo that I'm using. Tap, 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 tap. Make sure you hit all the way to P. Tap, 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 tap. Keep going. Canter. Oh, go, go, go. That I was just straight late on. That's my fault. Tap, 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 tap. All the way to R. Good. Tap, 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 tap. I think a lot of people are thinking that they're supposed to cut, and it's supposed to be a circle. Stay straight, because the hitbox seems to be really small, which is unfortunate, but see how I'm like hitting the outer edge of the circle here. L corner. Turn the camera. Hit. I don't know what happened there. Hit. My penalty went away. Oh, I lagged. It almost gave me a penalty. It almost. Yeah, so I hope this video kind of helps with what I'm doing. I kind of want to see, so 84. I didn't see what the score was up here when I got that one penalty, but yeah, I hope that helps with kind of understanding the technique that I'm using, because so far, again, I've been pretty successful with it. Again, it's only 2 times. One thing I just want to see is, okay, thank you for the 600. I just want to see, and you guys, at this point, you can stop watching the video. I just want to see if you don't bow on time, if they give you a penalty. The thing that also kind of bothers me is this arrow line is not exactly centered on the dirt path that they made. You see, I was like slightly off to the right. Okay, we're just not gonna bow. I want to see what happens. You should give me a penalty for not bowing. Okay. Okay. So Yeah. So the penalties, the cooldown on the penalties needs to go up by like a lot. Because let me try it again. I want to count how many seconds it takes for the next penalty to be added. Because that's also, too, what a lot of people are having problems with, is that they don't have any time to adjust themselves. And first, they need to figure out what the problem is. Second, they need to analyze and, well, they've already been analyzing, but they need to make a decision on how to improve on that. And they don't have any time for that. So that's the thing. Okay. Okay, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so it literally is only 2 seconds of adjustment. You don't have time for that. You need, I would say, 5 seconds at a minimum. Maybe 10 seconds to try to adjust yourself. I think maybe 10 seconds is a little long. I would say maybe 7 then. 7 as your upper limit. But yeah, it just takes... It's too fast. It's too fast of a cooldown for you to adjust yourself. So like I said, you need to be able to have the time to figure out what the problem is and then make a decision on how to adjust it. If you can even figure it out in the first place. And I think that's what people are having problems with, is they don't know what their issue is, because they seem to be straight, they seem to be hitting markers on time, they seem to be, going to gates and stuff like that. So I don't know, just because I haven't seen other footage beyond what I'm experiencing, but that's kind of, I guess, the thing that they need to consider is the cooldown on that. And I think they even said, well, yeah, we want the feedback, of course, but I'm just curious on how the testing actually worked in terms of developers, doing this in order for them to, implement and stuff like that. I just think also, too, I was talking to Daniela Moonstar. She was saying that... the penalties, it shouldn't be a 3 strikes and you're out system. It should be just a lower score, because you either didn't do it on time, you're not at the right gate, or anything like that. There should be some things that give you an automatic penalty. So, like, for example, if you're galloping, galloping is not allowed in dressage. Going outside of the arena is not allowed in dressage. Doing I guess you can say, like, backing up or doing a special move should be a penalty and stuff like that, because it's not what they're asking for. Going in the wrong direction as well should be a penalty. But in terms of, like, if you're doing everything else correctly, it's just not in the time hitbox that they want or something like that, then it should just be you get a lower score for that, and that's your score. So then that would mean people don't just get a 0. Right? Because basically, if you get 3 strikes and you're out, you get a 0. So by having a system where you're just given a lower score, then that kind of gives you more information on, like, what are you doing, why are you getting penalized, and how can you improve on that. So I agree with what Moon said about that. And especially kind of, too, it's like, if you're in school and you're taking a math test and stuff like that, if you get 3 problems wrong, you don't get a 0 on your math test. You get those 3 problems wrong, and that's it. And the teacher may just mark it wrong, or they may go over the problems or something like that. Or you can go up to the teacher and ask, like, hey, can you help me with these problems? I'm trying to figure out why I got them wrong. Then you have specific feedback. I think that's the thing, is you don't know with this current mechanic, you don't know what is wrong. And so, yeah, I think having just a different numerical tracking system would help. I would also love the Star Stable team to kind of come out and be like, hey, here is how we designed the math on the scoring, basically, and here's where the hitboxes are and that kind of thing. So that way people, can, I guess, kind of, from a technical standpoint, understand, what's going on, I guess. So yeah, like I said, with the whole math test thing, you can go up to your teacher and give specific stuff for them to look at, instead of, hey teacher, I didn't get a good score on my math test, I don't know what I did wrong. Then you and your teacher are kind of at a disadvantage, because you don't know what to target, and you're just going to spend more time and waste time going over problems that you got correct, when you could have just said, oh, I got these 3 problems wrong. So in that sense, you know, you can see like, oh, I messed up my circle at V, which also is another thing I want to point out. The circles is kind of at a weird spot. It's a 20-meter circle, right? Because a this size arena is 20 meters across. But in any case, at this kind of beginner, novice, introductory level, as far as I know, your circles are more here at the midpoints, or and that's it. I think looking at some like USDF tests and stuff like that, they're gonna have your circles kind of be here. Having them at these, what are these letters called? I don't know, these second from the corner letters is kind of interesting. But at least you have circles, so thank you. I like having the circles in there because that kind of tests your you know, your rhythmic ability, right? Tap, 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 because your job is to create an equally symmetrical shape, and the only way for you to do that is by having a very steady tapping rhythm and tapping tempo. Because if you're doing this tap, 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 right? If you're being kind of sporadic and changing your tempos all the time, right? I just kind of made an oval right here, so. Anyways, that's nice, but yeah, that was my tangent on the circles. Let's see. I think that's about it that I have. So, I mean, overall, I think it's a decent... the other thing that I wanted to talk about with the scoring is it would be very nice if what they did is your score sheet, instead of just saying, like, 84 out of 90, that's very helpful. You could also add a percentage of the test that you got correct. So what is an 84 out of 90? Let me double check right now. So 84 divided by 90 is a 93%. Okay, so that can help. And then also too, I think what Let's Ride Riding Stars said in their video game was they listed out the entire test and they gave you an individual score for each move. So like, okay, your circle at V was a 10 or something like that, but your circle at, what is this letter? At S was like an 8.2 out of 10 or something like that. So that way, again, you can see very specifically what moves you need to work on. So then if you see, okay, move number 1, 10, move number 2, 7.5, move number 3, 6.1, something like that. I think that would be a lot more helpful. And, you know, just give riders the feedback that they're looking for. And so also too, I think it's also important to understand that like some players don't play the game in a way that's going to help them for this specific test. So a lot of players, what they do is they do this. You notice how I'm not rotating the camera's rotating with me. Okay, it's just, the camera's just following me. So there's no way for players to, you know, see that. See what's happening on the ground. They have to rotate the camera. That's my advice anyways, but at the same time I think it would be helpful. This is a whole this is a whole review video. Like I said in my last live stream, I just think it would be helpful if they said up here, what is your current gait, and then at the bottom here is your upcoming gait. So that way people who play like this, where the camera is, you know, low to the ground and you're just looking at the back, they can still play and not have to like be forced to rotate the camera, because some people play on a laptop and they don't have a mouse and they have to play on a trackpad. And so that's, in my experience, playing on a trackpad is very difficult. And, you know, having to rotate the camera is something that needs to happen in this context here in order to get your gait timing just right. So yeah, that's kind of another thing I wanted to point out as well. So yep. Thank you all so much for watching this little rambly video. I just kind of repeated myself from the last video, but I also wanted to just do this test again for the second time and see if I can replicate my results, as well as explain how I specifically thought about this test and how I specifically performed the test with rotating the camera, hitting the dot, hitting the marker when my hoof hit the dot, staying nice and straight and really not messing around too much with like wiggling and veering turning and stuff like that, which I don't think a lot of people are doing, but at the same time, this will unfortunately impact your score if you're, you know, not being very careful on how you do turns and stuff like this. And I think also too, if you're doing turns like this, tap, 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 where you're just kind of curving into the turn, I think that may affect it. I'm not sure. It seems like they really want nice sharp corners and a nice 90-degree turn. So, yeah, okay. I'm done. I like to talk. I'm a dressage nerd and stuff like that. Also, too, just one... I keep going and going. One thing is just that the sand goes up to the hoof like that, and it's, like, transparent, and I kind of get what they're going for with, like, oh, your hooves go in the sand, but it just kind of looks weird. Okay, anyways. I don't know if they could do anything about that, but that's just some observation that I had. Okay. Thank you. This is the end of my video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.